Jai Baba. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. We are reading the book called Conversations with the Awakener by Bal Natu, and we are on page number 32. Chapter Wake Up, Wake Up. All right, go ahead.
Wake up, wake up. I worked hard day and night for the program, spending money as well as time and energy for its success. And it turned out to be a grand occasion. But not once during the ceremonies was my name mentioned. My efforts were unrecognized and I was completely neglected. Instead, shining awards were presented to some rich and to some dishonest persons. The audience cheered and gave them loud applause. I could not bear the sound of it and left by a back exit. I went to my room distraught with anger and jealousy and lay down on my bed, covering my eyes with a wet towel. What an ungrateful world, I muttered bitterly to myself.
See how beautifully the book brings across so many emotions that we face in our day-to-day life. Here somebody has worked hard, somebody has, sacrificed sleep, sacrificed food and every other entertainment and worked hard in order for a particular program to be successful. The program was in fact very successful, but there was no mention of that person's name. It happens so many times. And what happens here, the word used is, I was so distraught. We feel hurt. We feel very saddened. We feel absolutely depressed that how is it that I worked so hard and there is no applause, there is no appreciation. So here Baba is trying to teach us that work in itself is an appreciation. The opportunity to do some good work is itself an appreciation, and that we should never expect any applause, any standing ovation, anything of that sort from the other side, because you worked honestly and Baba knows about it. So that is what the first two paragraphs talk about, that I felt very hurt and I just went home depressed.
Just then you entered the room, speaking in a sing-song. Wake up, give up this ugly makeup. I ignored these words, yet couldn't help smiling to myself. But then again, the anger welled up in me. I refused to remove the towel that covered my eyes. You bent over me and pulled the towel away, repeating, wake up, wake up. Embarrassed and feeling guilty, I got up, making a space for you to sit on the bed and pulled out a stool for myself. We exchanged glances. I have come to awaken you, you said. To what? The foolishness in you so that it will automatically drop away. I gathered that you were referring to the morning program. What about the foolishness and ingratitude that abound in the world? I replied. Are you going to wait until all the people in the world become sensible? In that case, you will have to wait until eternity. So, what happened at the function was as it should be? Yes. Was it not a good lesson? In what way? There you should have learned what you should not do. Well, that's over. What do you expect me to do now? Wake up. When your mind wakes up in me, it is less affected by the ways of the world, and you won't lie with a wet towel over your eyes, and you cast an affectionate look at me.
Such a beautiful paragraph where Baba says that if you are going to wait for the world to change their ways so that it makes you happy, or so that it satisfies you, so that it meets with your expectation, then you will have to wait for an entire lifetime. Why lifetime? Maybe several eternity, because that is never going to happen. So one needs to learn lessons from our day-to-day living, where Baba says here a very profound sentence where Baba says that when your mind wakes up in me, when your mind wakes up in me, it is less affected by the ways of the world. The important thing is we should remain unaffected by the ways of the world, by remaining anchored, by remaining, in a sense, drowned in Baba's thinking, in having Baba in our mind and heart, and do not be bothered the way the world reacts to whatever we are doing. Such a very sound lesson that if you are going to wait for people to amuse you, for people to make you happy, for people to satiate your whatever your expectations are, then you will have to wait till eternity. You have to create. I remember a very short WhatsApp. I had shared this year. There were two little boys, and on one of the boy wearing a T-shirt, it was written, "I am happy," and the other boy is asking, "Where did you get this from? I mean, how is it that you are happy? Where did you get the happiness from?" And the little boy says, "I created it myself." So happiness is a self-creation. The moment we depend upon anybody or anything outside of us to satisfy us, to make us happy, to make us whatever XYZ, we'll have to wait till eternity. So here Baba says, wake up. When your mind wakes up in me, it is less affected by the ways of the world, and you won't lie with a wet towel over your eyes, and you cast an affectionate look at me. Such a great lesson, such a great learning, not to depend upon others to make us happy.
Does waking up in you mean trying to accept all that happens as your will? That's the ultimate revelation. However, if you long for such an understanding, it will continually blossom in you like a bud into a flower. But this growth is so unassuming, so silent, that it eludes a person's attention. Have you ever recognized or felt it?
Here again, once again, Baba, what Baba is trying to say. Like last time we did the chapter on gratitude. What is gratitude? Accepting every situation that we are in as coming from Baba. It is Baba's will. And I have repeated this many times. Baba's will is the law. We are where we are. We are what we are because of what we have done in the past. That is Baba's will, the law of karma. It does not necessarily mean, acceptance does not necessarily mean that you will not do anything about it. My oft repeated, example would be that if I am sick, if I am having COVID, if I am having anything, I cannot say that, oh, it is Baba's will that I should be sick and therefore I will not go to a doctor or to a hospital or whatever. It doesn't mean that. It simply means first step, acceptance. And second step, you do what is some action. You see, you have to take some action. It doesn't mean that you don't take action, but take it without blaming anybody outside of you, because everything that happens to us is because of us. Although the outsider may have to play a role of a villain or of somebody who is inflicting that hurt or harm upon us. Agreed. But that's a role that he's playing. That again does not mean that if you are hurt or whatever, it doesn't mean that you will not go and report to the police. It doesn't mean that you will not make a case against the person who's cheated. It doesn't mean any of these things. It simply means first acceptance of what it is. There's a nice sentence in English which I've been repeating, imagine the insanity. Insanity means madness. Imagine the insanity of not accepting what is. Because what is just is. If we do not accept what is, we are simply fighting with the problem rather than now creating a situation for the solution. So you don't become a part of the problem, you become a part of the solution by the very first step of acceptance. Right. Go ahead. Awake feeling.
A vague feeling comes and goes, doubts disappear and reappear. When will I be certain about it? There are innumerable phases in this journey of waking up in me. Do you ever dream? Invariably every night. But don't sidetrack my question. Do my dreams have a connection with the functioning of your will? Indirectly, they do. Don't complicate things. No, in fact, I'm simplifying them. Sorry, please continue. In your dreams, do you ever see the sun, the stars, the vast expanse of the heavens? Very rarely. All right. Do you sometimes see people greeting one another or fighting each other? Do you ever see lovely gardens or parched deserts? No, not too often. However, I have had much more fantastic and incredible dreams. But please give me a direct reply. Before I do, answer one more question. From where do the objects of your dreams come and where do they go? A good question. Give me a good answer quick. It seems that all my dreams originate in my mind and merge back into it. Fine, you are getting closer to the solution, but not in a way that I can make head or tail of. Your dreaming is the projection of your own mind and no one else's mind. Your dreams are governed by the laws of your own thoughts and emotions. You become your own dreams. I follow you a little, though only vaguely. Similarly, this creation is my dreaming to awaken myself in each and every one.
So here again, what is creation? As Baba says, it is a divine dream in order to awaken himself in each one of us. When Baba says the very opening sentence of Baba's universal message, and that same line is etched on Baba's tombstone, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. One of the interpretations could be that I have come to awaken myself in each one of you. In myself, I am already awakened. There's nothing more to gain, nothing to do, nothing to accomplish. But in you all, I am bound. And my duty of coming into this earth is to awaken myself in you so that you also awaken. And once you awaken for all times. So here basically what Baba is trying to say is, just as in our own dream, we create things and we absorb the things within ourselves. In the same way, the creation, the cosmos, is nothing but a divine dream. But it has a purpose. Our dream may not have a purpose. Our dream is based on our past samskaras and karmas, bondages and all that. But his dream has a purpose, and the purpose is to awaken everyone and everything in creation. So he says that, and everything that we are experiencing in this life is nothing but a divine dream.
But does your will govern the creation? In your dreams, you are not in control of your dream objects and situations because you are asleep. But being omniscient, I am conscious of creation and it is sustained by me. Then should I infer that only your will functions in creation and that no one has any freedom?
Again, here the universal question of free will and what is predestiny or destiny or whatever destiny, what you call as destiny. So here Baba is explaining, and we have done that in the past in so many ways.
Everyone is free, but that is a limited freedom. Trees cannot walk, ants cannot fly. Likewise, everyone has his own limitations. I help all to come out of their boundaries in order to experience larger realms of freedom. Will you disclose to me one of the devices by which I can break out of my self created limitations? Your will is dependent upon the divine will, and the divine will is not oppressive, it is supportive and ever ready to adjust itself to any sincere appeal from a human heart. The human will and the divine will are free to operate independently or jointly.
So here the most important thing is we all have freedom, but there is a limited freedom. And the example Baba gives, that the trees cannot move and the ant cannot fly and all that. So there is a free will. It is in limitation, and this free will is dependent upon the divine will. We've done this earlier. I don't want to get deep into that. And then here Baba says a very beautiful sentence that the divine will is not oppressive. The divine will is cooperative. It will support the free will. So anything that comes from the core of your being, as asking of Baba, Baba will adjust the divine will according to our human will. So it is adjusting, it is supporting, and it is not oppressive. Can you read the whole last paragraph?
Will you disclose to me one of the devices by which I can break out of my self created limitations? Your will is dependent upon the divine will, and the divine will is not oppressive, it is supportive and ever ready to adjust itself to any sincere appeal from a human heart. The human will and the divine will are free to operate independently or jointly.
So here, again, I had given an example earlier, much earlier. I would like to repeat that. A software programmer programs a software. And I just gave that example and I'm repeating that, let us say a game of a kung fu, judo, whatever it is, So there are, let us say, thousands of moves that can be moved. If an opponent makes a move, you've got 1,000 choices how you will be moving against that one move. They are all pre-recorded and what you may call as written in the software. So that means whichever move that you move is already written in the divine will. You cannot make the 1,001th move, beyond that because it is not written. So you have the limited freedom to choose any of the 1,000 moves which are already preordained in the divine CD or whatever you call it, divine game. But you cannot move beyond that. So in the same way, all our actions, all our thoughts, all our feelings, all our emotions, all our words are already written in the divine will. But you cannot do anything beyond that. In other words, the human will functions freely, but that freedom is limited and it is functioning within the entire orbit of the divine will. And superbly, Baba gives the example that the ant cannot fly and the trees cannot move. In the same way, we have got several choices. You see, Mani, Baba's sister Mani had given an example about we traveling in a train. So the junction of the starting point junction is determined that the train will end over here, and everybody who's sitting in the carriages, they will all be going over there. Now between the starting point and the end point, you have got limited freedom. You can choose to stand, you can choose to go to the loo, you can choose to stand at the doorway to take the breeze, you can sit at the in a seat which is near the window. You can do all this. That's a limited freedom is given, you see, but ultimately it is bound by the divine will, which means ultimately each and everyone in creation will finally end up at the junction or at the final point of merger with the beloved. So, like
Terminus.
terminus, you can call it a terminus. So, in other words, destiny for all is the same, but fate, which is nasib, F-A-T, fate, nasib, takdir, luck, you call it, is different. And the fate depends upon our own karma, whereas destiny is final, and junction, you will reach that terminus, you will reach that junction this life or maybe a few thousand lives hereafter. So that is fixed. The destiny is fixed, but the fate is different. So, in other words, some kind of freedom we have, but this freedom is limited. Go ahead.
I'm out of my depth here, but please go on. Whatever comes to your mind binds you, for you expect certain kinds of results according to physical and psychological laws. Whatever comes from your heart as a total offering to me helps to free you from your limitations. Warmth of heart is stronger than the strength of mind.
So, here once again, you're interpreting this a little differently. Here once again, what Baba is trying to say, anything that we do from the platform of a separative, egocentric, finite I, it binds you. Anything that you do as an offering to me, in other words, what Baba is trying to say, and as I interpret it, anything you do as if it is from coming from the street, from the heart, as if Baba is doing it through you, then those things do not bind. And therefore, Baba says that the warmth of the heart is stronger than the strength of the mind. The warmth of the heart would mean love, surrenderance, offering, resignation, no I, my, me, mine, active concern and care for the well-being of the others. All that I would compress that as the warmth
Club.
of the heart. Yeah, club that as the warmth of the heart.
Well, all of this is beyond my limitations. Please just tell me if your visit to me today is due to my human will or divine will.
Divine will.
The answer to this question is definitely beyond your understanding, because my visiting you is a gift of my unconditional grace. To explain this, we would have to start a different conversation. It is an entirely different dimension. My grace is bound by no laws, human or divine.
We have done it earlier many times. That law only operates in the domain of ignorance, in the domain of illusion, in the domain of darkness, or in the domain of dream state. The more that means the law is operational only in that, and Baba being out of the law, he operates on grace, and his grace has no mathematics, no law, no nothing. When his grace befalls on any of us, it is freedom, and for that there is no law. So while we are all bound by the law, he is beyond the law, and he can grace anyone and anything in creation. It is not that, oh, this fellow is a bloody whatever you call it, he doesn't deserve it, but we don't know who deserves what. So in other words, what Baba is trying to say is that grace is beyond the law.
Bound by no laws.
Bound by no law. It is beyond the law. Okay.
Okay, I withdraw my request, but may I continue to be a recipient of your gift of grace? There was a glow of happiness on your face, but I saw that you were now in a mood to leave. You looked steadily into my eyes, then deftly picked up the towel and threw it at me. Buck up, you said. Go and wash the sleep from your eyes to wake up. And you patted me affectionately on the shoulder and left.
Left. So your Baba wants us not to brood, not to weep, not to be in a state of
Garlic
depression,
face.
garlic face. Many times Baba would say, don't be garlic face. Like when you eat garlic, it smells and it also permeates and spreads all over. At other times, he would talk castor oil. How when you take castor oil, you are in a very, very different, face. So Baba does not ever want us to have a long face or be disturbed or in a mood of depression for the simple reason that all this is a temporary phase, it's a passing phase, and Baba wants us to be positive. Baba wants us to get up and get going rather than be in that state of so-called depression. Any questions on this? I don't think so, but if at all. No. All right. So we go ahead to the next chapter. This is on page number 38 of Conversations with the Awakener.
The wish fulfilling tree. The atmosphere was exceedingly quiet and refreshing. I felt very lively and at peace with myself. I thought that it was a perfect setting for you to visit me. But I had also gathered that your arrival is not bound to any inward or outward sign. It is like a dove winging on the winds of your grace. But hooray! This time you came as I wished and surprised me. You are predictable too. I could not resist crying out. You cannot predict me as being unpredictable, you said, and a smile swept across your regal countenance.
So beautiful play of words that Bal Natu ji feels that Baba is unpredictable, and actually he is unpredictable. And as he was saying that I don't think he would come such a beautiful setting, scenic, beautiful setting, and just then Baba appeared and say that Baba is saying you cannot predict me to be unpredictable. Okay.
I could sense that you were in a playful mood. You gave me a mischievous look and added, today I wish to give you something very special. What is it? I asked eagerly. Guess what? Has anyone ever guessed your next move? I responded. All right, listen, you said. When you return to your home this evening, would you like to find the wish fulfilling tree in your garden in full bloom? Would it please you? Would you like it? I hesitated for a moment before replying. Are you really serious? I asked. Are you really offering me a choice? Yes, that is why I have asked you. If that is true, then I would prefer not to have it. Strange, don't you think that by declining this gift, you will be missing something most rare? It's possible, but then why have you given me an option? Shouldn't I be honest with you? I have my own reasons for declining this offer. Really? Tell me. You know that I am an ordinary person, weak in spirit, and your creation, sorry, is most elusive and tempting. Honestly, I fear that while sitting under the wish fulfilling tree, I would be enticed to wish something that might displease you. Oh, I see. And with an innocent expression on your face, you continued. Anyway, today I am in a good mood and to give you what you wish. What would you like to ask of me? I will only ask if you agree not to give me a choice. Agreed? I will be delighted to receive anything you give me out of your pleasure. If you wish to give me something for my garden, I wouldn't mind at all whether you gave me a thorny plant or a wildflower bush. Of what use would they be to you? How long would they last? Please allow me to say how grateful I am to you. I answered, for taking away the concept of utility from my mind in my relationship with you. Whatever you give me will have a lively touch of your timelessness, and that is most precious to me and most endearing.
See how beautifully and how wise Bal Natuji was. That he is asking, why are you giving me a choice? I mean, if you give me a choice and if I choose something and you give me, then there is every possibility that I may use that in a manner which will displease you. So why do you want to give me a choice? And then he says that you can give me anything. You give me, because when you are giving it to me by your pleasure, with your pleasure, then that is a timeless gift. That is something which you have given out of your own pleasure rather than of my choice or of my asking. Now, this reminds me of a story which I think most of us who are aware of Dr. C.D. Deshmukh, I know most of you would know that story. Dr. C.D. Deshmukh was a PhD in religious studies and all that, and he got to know Baba in 1930s when he was studying at that time in England. He became a disciple of Meher Baba, but he was a very simple man. He was a simpleton, you know. He was not a man of the world. You can see, well, he lived in the world, but not of it, that kind. And Baba would often pull his leg, so to speak, and he would be the butt of a joke and all that. So one fine day, it was 1st of April, and Dr. Deshmukh was supposed to be visiting Baba. And I suppose it was obviously Guru Prasad because Baba would generally go around that time. I assume it is Guru Prasad. And Baba said that, see now, Dr. Deshmukh is coming. Let us just play a joke on him. So what they did was they took a big rock and then they covered it with wrapping papers, not just one, but several wrapping papers, one within the other, another, so many wrapping papers, and made it look extremely attractive. And said that when he comes, and meet all of us, we will present this as Baba has given you this gift, and it is just a rock, it is, and they'll be all laughing and joking and all that. So they all did it. All the Mandli got together to play that trick on Dr. Deshmukh. And now Dr. Deshmukh comes, and he bows down to Baba and sits, and then Irach or somebody says that Baba is very pleased with you today and he wants to give you a very beautiful gift. So he's not bothered about the gift because he was so focused on Baba that nothing would distract him. So he said, okay, okay, okay. Then Irach said, no, 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 this is the gift. Please take the gift. So he takes it and keeps it aside. And the joke is now flat because he's not opening it. So after some time, Irach says, that won't you open it? He said, Baba indicated to Iraj, nudged him and said, just let us have that joke. So Iraj says, why don't you open it? No, that is okay. That now Baba is there. Let me focus on Baba. That I can always open, go home and open and all that. Then other people butt in and said, no, no, it's not good. It's a very normal practice. It's a sense of good manners to open the gift in front of all and to appreciate it. And again he said, okay, okay. And then everybody was upon him to open that box, that gift box. So very, very gently, he would just, open one paper and that sellotape, he would very, very, so people's patience was, coming to an end. And finally, Erad said, this is not, and he just tore it up, except for the last box. And then he just removed all the wrappings, colorful wrappings and all that, and then gives it back to Dr. Deshmukh to open. And then finally, very slowly, Dr. Deshmukh opens it. And what does he see? He sees a rock. And everybody was waiting for Dr. Deshmukh's reaction. And he was out of the world. He lifted the rock, kept it on his head, and started dancing with joy. So everybody's joke fell flat. And he's, what is it? Everybody's saying, just look, it is a rock. Yes, I know, it's a rock. My beloved has given me such a beautiful gift. Nobody has given me. If anything else were given, some fruits or some item, then that would have perished. That would have perished. I would have consumed it. I would have perished. It was a pair of clothes or something, I would have worn it out and it would have been worn out in due course of time. But this is eternal. This will remain forever. Most precious gift and all that. So, in a way, Baba always, whenever he jokes, it's a two-way traffic. So, Baba was also trying to teach the Mandali that see his bent of mind, see his thought processes, that had anything else been given, it would have perished with time. But this is eternal, this will remain forever. So here Bal Natu is saying more or less the same. Whatever you give will have a lively touch of your timelessness. And that is most precious to me and most enduring. Go ahead.
You looked at me, smiled, and then walked away as suddenly as you had come without giving me anything. You are beyond unpredictability. But your meaningful smile seemed to have uprooted the desire growing tree in me. Although you apparently gave me nothing, I felt that I had received something more precious than the treasures I would have received by sitting under the wish fulfilling tree. But what a mind! Sometimes, though rarely, I wonder if I was wrong to exercise my choice as you allowed me to do. However, I am also aware that the choice of the tree may have taken away the charm of my intimate relationship with you. Perhaps I would have become more dependent on the tree and less on you, and that would have been a pity. Now I have something more, much more, an opportunity to remember you, to call upon your help for anything and everything in my day to day living. Your loving remembrance is the real life
Life
giving
giving.
tree that you have planted in me. It will blossom in due course to please you in all seasons. You know the time.
See how beautiful he says that had I exercised my choice of a wish fulfilling tree, then I would have perhaps forgotten you. I would have got everything from the tree because it's a wish fulfilling tree. And who knows, I may wish something which may displease you. So it was a nice thing that I did not exercise that choice. And now I have you to depend upon totally. And yeah, your loving remembrance is the life giving tree
Real life.
is the real life-giving tree that you have planted in me. And actually, Baba has planted that gift in each one of us. But we don't somehow make the best use of it. We somehow, run here, there, everywhere. This God, this Devi, this Devta, this thing and all that. I'm not belittling anybody or anything, but Baba has himself said that once having come to me, there's no need for you to go anywhere else because he's the one who will give us the highest. The others may give us something what? Give us something that will perpetuate the illusion, health, wealth, jobs, children, whatever. But that would only perpetuate the illusion. Whereas here he is there to give us that what nobody else can give, the reality, the truth, the oneness with him. So here Baba, he says, your loving remembrance is the real life-giving tree that you have planted in me and in all of us as well. It will blossom in due course to please you in all seasons. To please you in all seasons would mean, in my understanding, to hold on to Baba's Daman through thick and thin, through whatever you are going through all the ups and downs in life, so that He is pleased with our holding on to Him. You know the time. That means whenever it will blossom, you know the time. Any questions? Anything to share? Anything to ask? Anything to comment? I assume that we are all enjoying this, although they are not strictly Baba's words. I said that in the beginning of the session, not today, when we started this, that our format is reading of Baba's words. But I find this extremely interesting and extremely helpful to our day-to-day living and very practical. So I don't think it is anything less than reading of Baba's words, and that's why I shifted over to this book. All right. No questions, no sharing. Go ahead.
Friendly as well as fiery. Your last visit was most marvelous, I blurted out before you took your seat. Casting an endearing glance at me, you quipped, and you did not like our earlier meetings? A bit startled, I replied, I didn't mean that. After all, I am an impatient person. But from your remark, should I assume that you want me to remove comparison from my speech? From your mind? Yes, you answered. Does comparison impede our relationship? Comparison entails valuing one thing over another. What's wrong with that? In your sojourn to me, the infinite one, you have to cross many hurdles, and one of them is comparison. So, you don't want me to judge anyone or anything? That would be best. Until you respect the intrinsic dignity of each being and thing, you won't be able to appreciate my indivisible beauty and presence.
So here Baba is again sending out a message about comparing things, about comparing people, and most importantly, about judging other people, including judging ourselves. So Baba says that if you stop doing that, that would be best. Only then you will be able to appreciate my indivisible beauty and presence. That means His presence in everyone and everything. So that will take away all our temptation of comparing one against the other or judging others, including, as I said, judging ourselves.
Then, should I stop conversing with others, especially you? It is very difficult to express one's thoughts without making comparisons. Don't be hasty in your judgments. When dealing with the world, you have to discriminate, but don't let your evaluations entail condemnation. I do not expect you to observe silence. Feel free to converse with me and, as necessary, with others. On any subject? Yes, any. But today, before you switch topics, I want to ask you if you ever shared with others the dialogues we have had earlier.
Sorry. So here again, Baba is so practical that in the day-to-day living in the world, Baba expects us to use discrimination. He does not expect us to be like a fool so that somebody can just trample upon us and, oh, he's a very loving person, so they can do anything and get away with it. So again, all the time, Baba is showing us that when you are in the world, you have to use certain discrimination, certain way of functioning, rather than, like saying, Baba says, that real happiness lies in making others happy. So you make a fool of yourself in making others happy. And that is not what Baba wants. So here Baba says, don't be hasty in your judgment, that you will not talk about anybody to anything and all that. When dealing with the world, you have to discriminate. But don't let your evaluations entail condemnation. Baba has never condemned anybody. He only upholds, he only uplifts, he only supports, he only pulls us up. There is no pushing down, there is no condemnation. So we should also learn from that never to condemn anybody, because everybody is working out their own sanskaric mold, impressional mold. That person can only be behaving like that because his or her samskaras are like that, and they are instigating him to behave in a certain manner. If it doesn't gel well or vibe well with your own pattern of samskaras, just keep a distance. But you don't need to condemn somebody, because when you condemn somebody, and most of us do that, in the absence of that somebody, then actually we are attracting that person's negative karma towards ourselves. Baba has said that you attract it. So if you have to say something to somebody, say it on the face and say it in a manner which is truthful, but at the same time which is not having a tone of condemnation. You take upon, yeah, okay. Samya says you don't attract, you take upon yourself. Like Kabir ji says, Ninda hamari jo kare, दोस्त हमारा होए, bin sabun, bin pani, bin sabun, mail hamara dhoye. That means those person who slander us are actually our friends, because without soap, without water, they are washing our bad karmas or sins. So that way. All right. Here Baba is asked. Now here he is opening up after so many chapters. Baba is saying, asking Bal Natu ji, that are you ever discussing what we are talking about to others? Are you talking? Can you just come there?
But today, before you switch topics, I want to ask you if you ever share with others the dialogues we have had earlier. Only very rarely. And why is it that? I don't like to teach or advise others. When I try to do that, I feel nervous sometimes, other times, even frightened. Don't try to teach others. However, sharing with others in a friendly manner, ways of living to feel my presence is not giving advice.
Here again, I would interpret it that we all have this most precious name, Meher Baba. And I don't see any harm in sharing that name in a very casual manner to whosoever you feel like. Many people are so tight-lipped that they are afraid, like how Bal Natu ji, I'm afraid, I'm frightened, I'm nervous of sharing out all these things. So we need not be absolutely blah, 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 and we need not be very nervous about it. But intuitively, if we feel that the other person is very open to receiving the name of Meher Baba as the highest of the high, the avatar of the age, I don't see any harm. At least I'm talking personally. At any given at any time I create an opportunity to just pass over the name, then it's up to Baba to travel, as we say, from the ear to the heart. That's his business. But at least somewhere in our conversation, we try to put Meher Baba's name. So here, that's what Baba is saying, that you don't have to teach, but what is the harm in just sharing them that way?
Sharing with others in a friendly manner, ways of living to feel my presence is not giving advice. Could you enlighten me about this a little more? Don't go after enlightenment, you laughed. And you continued, I don't expect you to babble indiscriminately. Listen to others intently, and then, if you feel like sharing with them what you have gathered from me, don't hesitate. Regardless of the reactions, better that you watch your own mind. The actions and reactions of others don't matter as much as your own reactions to them.
So again, here, a very good learning. Our job is to share. There is every possibility that there may be a negative reaction. And Baba said that is not important. How they react to you when you are sharing or you are saying something is not important. What is important is your reaction upon their reaction. That is where all the difference is, So we should not react to their reaction. Can you read the last?
Better that you watch your sorry. But regardless of their reactions, better that you watch your own mind. The actions and reactions of others don't matter as much as your own reactions to them.
So what matters is our own reaction to whatever is happening around us all the time. As long as we mind our own reactions and convert a reaction into a response or a creation in the Baba-ful way, then that is good. Because reactions only create circular motion of the samskaras. We've all done that, impressions, wanting expressions and all that. We won't go into that again. So here Baba is telling us, be aware of your own reaction to the reaction of others when you are dealing with them, not necessarily sharing Baba, but in our most moment to moment living, when we interact with each other, we tend to be reactive. So Baba wants us to be watchful, mindful, and alert with regard to our own reaction to what life has to offer us.
This kind of response and awareness will take me a long time to acquire. I will show you the way. I will help you. That will be wonderful. When you speak with others, inwardly relate yourself to me residing in their hearts. Initially, it will be difficult for you to remember to do this. But if you are sincere, it will become a delight for you. The responses of other persons will remind you of my directive. Don't have doubts about this or feel dejected if your mind continues for some time with its old pranks. Have a little patience. The mind gives in gradually. A noble intention awakens noble intentions in others.
So here this is again extremely important. When you speak with others, inwardly relate yourself to me residing in their hearts. That means we learn the art of seeing Baba in everyone and everything. I'll repeat this. When you speak with others, inwardly relate yourself to me residing in their hearts. Initially, it will be difficult. All that is fine. So initially, we tend to go back to our own pranks. In a sense, we tend to be our own reactive being, but gradually it will go away, and gradually we will cultivate the art of seeing Baba and feeling Baba in others' hearts. And when that is once established, then automatically all our responses to everything that life has to offer will spring forth from Baba is in the other person, and Baba wants to teach me something, Baba wants to tell me something, and automatically our responses would be most noble. Can you just read the whole thing again if you don't mind?
When you speak with others, inwardly relate yourself to me residing in their hearts. Initially, it will be difficult for you to remember to do this. But if you are sincere, it will become a delight for you. The responses of other persons will remind you of my directive. Don't have doubts about this or feel dejected if your mind continues for some time with its old pranks. Have a little patience. The mind gives in gradually. A noble intention awakens noble intentions in others.
There's a saying, habits die hard. We have been habitual in behaving in a certain pattern, and it's very difficult. So we have to make some conscious effort to start with. And then when it becomes regular behavior, then automatically it will alter.
If others jeer at me or ridicule me, should I stop? Accept your failures, but do not brood over what others say. Such incidents serve as a gauge to test your trust in me. These conversations are my gift to you, so don't be cowardly about sharing them with others. The process of sharing gives opportunities to clear inroads within you to me and to enable my love to flow into your veins.
So beautifully. This is about the conversation. But apart from the conversations, whatever love we have for Baba, Baba wants us to share in the most natural way, using our discretion and discrimination as to how much to say, whom to tell, and what to tell. Sometimes it may backfire, as it may. Then he says, what about people who may jeer at you? Accept it. Accept your failures in the sense, accept the fact that that person is not accepting whatever you want to convey. But when you accept the failures and when you are still the same without reacting to their reaction, then Baba says that, first of all, Baba says, don't be a coward by keeping all this within your own heart. Do share. But here Baba says that the process of sharing gives opportunity to clear inroads within you. When we are sharing, it is clearing the inroads within us, within you, to me, and to enable my love to flow into your veins. So, sharing Baba also helps us in inviting Baba's love within us more and more.
Sometimes words almost come to my lips, but at the last moment, fear besets me.
Now, fear of what? Fear of being ridiculed, fear of not being accepted, fear of somebody backlashing on you. So these, sorry, is it there? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the result of the burden of memories. In every encounter, you must begin afresh. A life of love does not consist of simply singing songs and playing music or of offering prayers and giving sermons. To live with me, the indivisible one, you have to die in me. You are afraid of death. Are you afraid of death?
Yeah, okay, we have a very important sentence here. I'm trying to. This is the result of the burden of memories. We always look at things and people with the spectacles of the past. In other words, we always evaluate, judge, and think about the person or the things based on our own subjective mind. So Baba says here, this is the result of the burden. It's a burden of the past. And then Baba says one absolutely brilliant sentence. In every encounter, you must begin afresh. Every encounter is a fresh encounter. If you join your past memory to it, then it doesn't become a fresh encounter. Then you are, I would say, goaded by the past. There is a kind of a, triggered by the past. You are being influenced by the past because you are not taking every incident as afresh. So I would consider this as a very powerful sentence. In every encounter, you must begin afresh. And then, of course, Baba talks about why are you afraid to die in me? That way. Okay, go ahead.
Now, not are you afraid of death? Not of death, because I don't know what it is. But I must confess, any thought of physical or mental suffering gives me a fright. I came to you for real life, and you talk of dying. Are you trying to feel my pulse? I don't try for anything. I know. Don't fear pain, for I always give a little less than one can endure. Do you believe this? It is hard to admit, yet hard to deny. I think it is all in your hands.
It's a fact when Baba says that I always give you pain a little less than what you can handle.
He doesn't give a karma, does he?
Karma, yeah, correct. Karma. Okay, karma. Why? Because we have an automatic switch. the moment the pain goes beyond a certain limit, endurance, you become unconscious, isn't it? And unconsciousness is nothing but bliss. All your pain is gone at that moment. So, whenever we feel that, oh, it's too much for me to bear, I just can't bear it any longer, the very fact that you are still not unconscious, the very fact that we are still conscious of feeling the switch is not yet the tripping of the switch, how we have in our electricity, the tripper, that whenever there's a power much more than what your equipments can handle, it trips and it goes off. Everything just goes off. So that switch Baba has put in all of us, and that's why Baba says that I always give much little less than what you can endure.
With a fond smile, you said, but you cannot run away from the part you have to play in life. Let honesty of heart and trust in you blossom in my life. Will you bless me? Asking creates a distance.
See, beautiful. Asking creates a distance. Last time we did that. To ask of the beloved is an insult to love. So here Baba says asking creates a distance.
When you offer yourself to my will, you know that you have already received what you seek. Wait and see. Then, as though to tease me, with a merry twinkle in your eyes, you concluded our conversation. Was this true a marvelous visit? I smiled and answered, don't tempt me to compare. However, I may comment without comparing that this meeting was very reassuring as well as challenging and friendly as well as fiery. And we both laughed.
So that was the meeting, friendly as well as fiery. And really, I personally feel we get to learn a lot from this book, from this conversation as to how one should conduct oneself in life and face the life's situations. I think we stop here. Anybody has anything to ask with regard to this? All right, nothing. So I think we've already extended our time. Shall we say? Avtar Meher Baba
की जय
अवतार में बाबा की
जय
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
जय बाबा
Thank you, Baba.
जय बाबा
Thank you. Jai
जय
Baba.
बाबा